Congressional Democrats are in dire straits as polls show Americans lay the blame squarely with them for the shutdown. Meanwhile, a lecture by Senator Cory Booker in a Judiciary Subcommittee on the rise in political violence gets a stunning rebuke from both the left and the right. I'm Tony Kinnett, host of the Daily Signal's Tony Kinnett Cast, syndicated nationally at 7 p.m. Eastern. It is Wednesday, October 29th, 2025. This is the Daily Signal's top news in 10. Congressional Democrats are in a rough spot as SNAP benefits are set to expire in just a few days due to the extended government shutdown after Senate Democrats refused to pass a clean resolution helping Republicans and some Democrats meet the 60-vote threshold needed in order to pass the clean continuing resolution at Biden administration standards. There are a few reasons why Democrats are struggling on the communication regarding this particular shutdown. First and foremost, there are some Democrats who are still trying to suggest that Democrats are not responsible for the government shutdown. Here was Representative Melanie Stansbury of New Mexico's 1st Congressional District being caught by Jake Tapper pushing this narrative.
Let me be clear. The administration is choosing to starve American children with money that they already have appropriated.
I'm not applauding their tactics.
By the White House. Well, this is a choice by the White House.
This is also, Congresswoman, this is also a choice by Senate Democrats to not vote to open the government. Yes, it is.
At the same time, there are Democrats, for example, like Senator Chris Coons of Delaware and Senator Sheldon Whitehouse of Rhode Island, claiming that yes, the Democrats are responsible for the government shutdown, and yes, this is going to hurt Americans, but it's providing them maximum leverage. First, here's Senator Coons.
Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the White House. Frankly, this is our only moment of leverage.
And Senator Whitehouse.
Why are working families the leverage the Democrats need to get Obamacare fixed, to get the Republicans to fix Obamacare? Why is that the place you guys have to go that far?
It's the only lever we have. And frankly, it wouldn't be a lever at all if Republicans were being reasonable.
A reporter from CNN pressured Senator Peter Welch, Democrat of Vermont, over the largest public sector union in the country, calling for Democrats to get this over with and pass the resolution so they can get paid.
The nation's largest public sector union calling for you guys to pass a clean continuing resolution. Does that change your position?
It doesn't change it, but it's a real indication of how this is really tough on people. And that's why it's really important for the president to get involved, because he's the key person here.
While Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey tried to claim that this was actually President Trump's shutdown, the polling data indicates quite the opposite. Here's Harry Inton's latest analysis of the Republicans' rise during the shutdown.
Starting with Republicans, how has the shutdown seemed to have affected their political standing?
Yeah, you might think, given that the Republicans are in charge of both the House and the Senate, that a government shutdown might actually hurt the Republican brand. But in fact, it hasn't. If anything, it's been helped a little bit. Take a look here, the shift in net popularity versus pre-shutdown. When we're looking at the Republican Party overall, that brand actually up 2 points. That's within the margin of error, but clearly it hasn't dropped. Come over to this side of the screen. Look at the net approval ratings for Republicans in Congress. It's actually up 5 points since pre-shutdown. So what we're seeing here is the Republican brand in Congress has actually improved somewhat compared to where we were pre-shutdown, despite the fact that Republicans control. And that's the math that John Thune and Mike Johnson are looking at is, well, hey, why should we give, and electorally speaking, when our brand has actually improved a little bit?
Now, we say their position is getting better. With whom?
Yeah, okay, with whom? So I think it's two groups that it's so important to keep an eye on. All right, change in the Republican Congress's net approval rating versus pre-shutdown. It's rallying the base for sure. Look at this, the net approval rating up 12 points versus pre-shutdown. But it's not just with the base. It's also with the middle of the electorate. Look at this, among independents. It's up 8 points as well. So we've got a situation here where Republicans with the shutdown are actually rallying their base, but it's also something that's not hurting them with the folks in the middle. If anything, it's helping them with folks in the middle. And this is the type of math that if you're Republicans, you like to see, right? Because something could rally the base but alienate those in the middle, or something could rally those in the middle but alienate the base. But the truth is, we're not seeing that. What we're seeing is the Republican brand has actually gotten better among independents, and it's also gotten better among Republicans as well, that Republican brand when it comes to those in Congress. So again, what's the electoral reason that Republicans would give in at this point?
And Democrats, of course, they have their eyes on the midterm elections. Yeah, we have elections 1 week from today, but what Democrats in Congress are mostly focused on are 1 year and 1 week from today from the midterm. So how how are they positioned right now?
Yeah, so I mean, look, the generic congressional ballot, which traditionally Democrats have done really well on, and if you look at this point back when Trump was president the first time around, Democrats were up 11 points. Look at where it is now. Democrats are ahead, but they're actually only up 3 points. This is, in fact, the worst position Democrats have been on in a generic ballot at this point in midterm when there was a Republican president in the last 20 years. And this is no different from pre-shutdown. So Republicans aren't losing on this metric either. They become more popular, and they're actually in a pretty good position for them historically when it comes to the generic congressional ballot.
This is a concerning number for Democrats, are you saying?
This is a concerning number for Democrats because it's considerably worse than they traditionally do in midterm elections when there's a Republican president.
We sat down with our Daily Signal president, Rob Bluey, to talk a little bit more about this in depth. No one's having a worse day than Chuck Schumer's social media interns, because whether you're on MSNBC, CNN, whether you're on CBS, ABC, Fox News, Daily Wire, Daily Caller, Daily Signal, the news is universal. Democrats are getting shellacked over the shutdown, and it's getting worse by the day. Rob Bluey, president of the aforementioned Daily Signal, have you ever seen a kind of election where we're getting up for the kind of the off year 2025 elections with Virginia, with New Jersey, with California Prop 50, and it is the Democrats who are holding emergency strategy sessions?
Tony, it's remarkable because I think that Chuck Schumer and the Democrats thought that this government shutdown was going to play perfectly to their benefit, and it has done anything but that. In part because, as you and I have talked about for the last several weeks, number one, they can't seem to find a consistent message and stick to it. Secondly, I think that the voters are smarter than they give them credit for. I'll give you one example. I live in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Abigail Spanberger has been running ads pretty regularly over the course of the past month, trying to knock Winsome Sears on the shutdown specifically, and some comments that Winsome Sears has made publicly about them. But I'm sorry, if you're the Democrats who are the ones that are continuing to vote against opening the government, you how are you supposed to make that your central argument here in the closing days? And I just think that it's falling flat with voters. Yes, Winsome Sears does have a challenge here. She's going against history. The president's incumbent party always is on playing the challenger role, I guess is the way that I'd put it, when you have these off-year elections. At the same time, the Democrats just keep stepping in it, as you said.
Also, yesterday, a Senate Judiciary Subcommittee on the rise in political violence got a little heated after Senator Cory Booker lectured those present to testify about the need for self-introspection and calling out all sides, which he claims Republicans don't do.
To hear quotes that I've even said that need to be tamped down, because the only thing that's going to save our country now is not more political posturing and partisan finger pointing. The only thing that's going to get us out of this condition is for courageous leaders in both parties to start standing up and extending grace and self-introspection.
Michael Knowles of the Daily Wire was quick to point out that not only does the left not call out political violence, but Senator Cory Booker himself had actually endorsed an individual complicit in calling for political violence earlier in the year.
Of course, there is appropriate concern, the kind of concern that one would never have on the left because they don't face any threats on college campuses. College campuses are key, though, here, Senator, because when some fringe right-winger does something awful, he's castigated, thrown into prison, as he should be. When a fringe left-winger commits terrorist attacks, sometimes he's given university positions, as happened with the Weather Underground, an organization which blew up part of this very building, and they were rewarded with sinecures at universities.
For you and to further undercut Cory Booker's argument that the left is better at calling out political violence, here's liberal podcaster Jennifer Welch suggesting that Democrats need to get on board with celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk and maybe the murder of others.
Look at this clip of a wine mom at the No Kings March. Play the clip.
His name was?
Charlie Kirk, ma'am?
Yeah, him is horrible. Horrible.
Charlie Kirk is horrible?
Yes, I'm glad he's not here.
You're glad he's dead?
Yes.
say something like that, ma'am?
Because he was horrible on the campuses, the college campuses. Horrible person.
You know what? I do the exact same thing.
Well,
would you be glad if I would die?
Maybe. I'd have to think about it.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Your friend just said she'd be happy if I died. I think we need to...
So listen up, Democratic establishment. You can either jump on board with this or we're coming after you in the same way that we come after MAGA.
Before you go, head down to the description and make sure you're subscribed to the Tony Kinnett Cast. We've got a slate of interviews that are coming in so quickly, we're not able to release them all on the show. So subscribing makes sure that you get access to all of them. Tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, we'll be getting a roundup on the day's news and nonsense and preparing for our major election coverage under a week away. I'm Tony Kinnett, and this has been the Daily Signal's top news in 10.